This week, WAC and Epified try to unravel the murky business dealings of FIFA. The Federation International de Football Association, or FIFA as we all know it, is responsible for the organization of football's major international tournaments, notably the Football World Cup. Now, here are a few facts about FIFA you may not have heard about. For a non-profit organization, FIFA has a reserve of $1 billion in its bank accounts. Now, that's enough money to buy out countries like Dominica, Solomon Islands, and Tonga. The 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil was the most expensive in 84 years, with expenses coming up to $11 billion. Now, just to put this in perspective, we would be able to supply the whole world with clean drinking water for just $10 billion. We all know that FIFA earns a lot through sponsorships and advertising. And in 2014, brands like McDonald's and Budweiser pumped in the major chunk of moolah. In fact, Brazil, which was hosting the 2014 FIFA World Cup, has a law that does not allow the sale and consumption of beer in stadiums. But FIFA couldn't say no to Budweiser, not after a huge sum of money that they had already spent. So, it was much easier to just fight the law of the land. And sure enough, Brazil changed its law to allow the sale of Budweiser during the FIFA World Cup, only called the Budweiser Bill. With great money comes great power, and with great power comes great responsibility. Or does it? A recent investigation led by the FBI has indicted 14 top officials of FIFA for fraud, racketeering, and money laundering. But how did the United States of America, a country where only 11% of the people follow the sport, start investigating the European organization? Here is where the story takes a turn for the bizarre. It all started with Chuck Blazer, a former FIFA executive and the former vice president of the US Soccer Federation. Blazer hadn't filed a single tax return, citing reasons that he was working for a non-profit organization. But then he found it kind of hard to explain how he had the means to rent out a $1 million apartment in the Trump Tower exclusively for his pet cats. Yes, cats. Cats here is not a metaphor for something more scandalous. He really just had a bunch of adorable fur balls living in a $1 million apartment in downtown New York. So when he was approached by the US government, he did what every person fearing prison would do. He turned into an informant and ratted out the next big fish. In a 164-page report, he alleged that former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner tried to buy votes so that he could steer the organization to vote for different countries as the host for the FIFA World Cup. These bribes were worth $40,000. FIFA was using American bank accounts to launder the money. Well, now this looks like a case for the FBI. Turns out that this was just the tip of the iceberg. The FBI decided to find out just how deep the rabbit hole really went. And this hole, it went straight to Sepp Blatter, reportedly the kingpin of the FBI bribery scam. Blatter was so powerful and rich that the elections for presidency had become a joke. Running FIFA since 1998, Blatter had managed to turn one of the world's most respected sports organizations into this giant money laundering scheme. During his reign, FIFA officials accepted bribes from governments to allow them to host the FIFA World Cup in their country. Not content by this alone, FIFA would then force those countries to spend billions of dollars on lavish stadiums and facilities that the country could not even afford. For example, FIFA made Brazil spend money to build the second most expensive stadium in the world for only a handful of matches. These stadiums today lie empty and is actually being used as a parking lot for buses. As if these decisions weren't absurd enough, the announcement of Qatar, a country which probably has very little to do with football, has been nominated as the next host nation for the FIFA World Cup. Our heart really goes out to those players who will be playing the sport in temperatures that will soar up to 50 degrees Celsius. However, Blatter resigned as president of FIFA on the 3rd of June 2015 after coming under immense pressure from various governments. Reports also suggest that he did so out of the fear of sponsors like Adidas, McDonald's, Visa, and Coca-Cola pulling out. Investigations are still on, but what is clear is that since 1998, FIFA, the non-profit organization, has managed to build an empire worth billions, influence laws of multiple countries, and topple economies without paying a single dollar in tax. Perhaps it's time that the world put a stop to the corruption being carried out in the name of a beloved sport, and for FIFA to stand for what it actually was created for, the good of the game. Like, comment and share this video. And for more wacky videos, subscribe to The Whack. And for videos on mythology and history, subscribe to Epified. That's why I've decided to dedicate this episode to some of the most awesome, coolest things about cars, highways, roads, everything. This is Need for Speed.
In any group of people, there is diversity of natures. One person wants peace, while the other is aggressive, and another is content to pursue knowledge.